Alright, what's up, guys? I need some light. Let's see if that helps a little bit. Oh, that helps a little bit. Alright. Let's see if the stream is working on X and YouTube. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Just sent the link out in Discord as well. Let's go see. Nope, it's working. Perfect. Alright. Let people jump in here for a minute or so before I start getting too far into this. Let me pull up the economic calendar for this week. Go over the boring stuff first. Monday, nothing scheduled, so fantastic. To start the week off, there's absolutely nothing. Tuesday, Consumer Price Index, CPI year over year, core CPI, Empire State Manufacturing. Fed Bowman is speaking, Fed Barr is speaking, Boston Fed President Susan Collins. So a lot actually on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we'll be following with PPI and Federal Reserve. Michael Barr speaking. Thursday, jobless claims, retail sales. Philadelphia Fed, business inventories, home builder confidence. More Fed speakers. Oh my goodness. You got Cook speaking. Friday, nothing. So Monday and Friday almost basically clear schedule, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday it gets a little crazy. So alright, that's the boring shit first. What's up, KK? Live, appreciate you, Live. 1.66k subs on the YouTube channel. Thank you, Live. Yeah, make sure you go like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And then for the ones here live on X, this is live and recorded as always. So if you can please like and repost the stream, I would greatly appreciate it. The people that cannot attend this live, they can watch the recording later on. So the more people that like and repost it, it will be easier to find, and they can watch the charting session that we're about to do here later on their own time. So appreciate you. Let's jump into the main three, right? The first three that we're always going to look at: SPY, QQQ, and IWM. So I did a little bit of homework earlier, and there's a lot of, in my opinion, just bearish kind of chart setups for the week. So SPY, obviously recent new all-time highs. Not too much action going on. Weekly closed a little doji candle up here underneath the previous week high. So in my opinion, if this week is red and takes SPY back down underneath 620 down to 614, and that weekly candle closes red down there, then obviously you combine those three candlesticks at the top right there, you would have an evening star, which 9 times out of 10 I would say next candle would be red. So that would be followed by another continued week of a potential downside to go back down to 605, maybe 600. So not the best candle close. Definitely had a huge run on the weekly, so a little bit of pullback can be expected. And if it sets up with an evening star candlestick pattern, then that's my favorite bearish reversal of all time. So going to be wanting to see if this weekly candle actually does close down here underneath 620, going for the 614, 615 area. That would then signal another week of potential selling. So other than that, nothing significant. There's the double high, kind of equal high resistance right there up near 626. You have a midpoint right across here, which is going to be around 622, and then your big support down here near just underneath 620, around the 619 area. So these would be the main three I would say to watch. So just have one point of contact there, one point there, and then almost gets down right here, then 3, and then break underneath, closing underneath, rejection. So let me screenshot this. So 3 levels on SPY again, 626, 622, and 619. So we're right there at the midpoint underneath this little trend line right here after a double top up here on the 4 hour. So if it does break underneath there, then I would watch it for the move down to 619. So let me go over here to be exact. 619.23 is previous month high. You'll see right here. So the Lux Algo price action concepts that I have turned on already marks that for you. So losing previous month high around 619.23 area. I'm going to look for a move down to that next area, which is going to be 618. Underneath 618, then start that move downside. Again, down to previous week low. That's going to line up right at 615. And then just have all these targets downside. I got a lot of levels down there. But so that'll be top watch to see if SPY comes all the way down here. And if it loses that, that can start some downside. If it breaks back over top of 625, then go back up to the resistance up there just between 626, 627. And then it's just more all-time highs after that. Move this light a little bit closer. People are saying aftermarket hours right now that Tesla is green. Let's see. Yeah, Tesla's green. Nvidia was green. Apple down. AMD down. SPY, Qs, Amazon all down like 0.35%. So I mean that's nothing really significant there. So just watch these 3 levels right here on SPY. QQQ, very similar with, I already have the midpoint zone drawn, just right there. You have your resistance kind of up here. Got big support right there. So in this little zone right here on Qs. Nothing too crazy. I mean, you had this trend line right here, and like it was trying to hold, wick down, bought back up, close underneath, and now you got potential lower highs. So this is what I will watch right here on QQQ from that all-time high near 558, and then underneath 551.6. Then start the move downside. Big support down there just underneath 545 if it does get there. It's actually in a 4-hour squeeze, and it looks like it's moving downside right now. There's actually been some bearish divergence here on the RSI. So as QQQ here was moving up higher, RSI is actually decreasing and going lower on the MACD and RSI. Both those indicators there. So not the best, not the most bullish sign. So definitely looking a little bearish setup from Friday and previous week closes. So we might be in for a little red week. So let me screenshot this. Actually, let me turn this on too. Not the best position for a bull. And last but not least, IWM. So IWM, perfect. 3 points of contact and then a break. 1, 2, big support there. 3, held, new highs, and then shooting star on the 4 hour, just over 225, pull back down, and then just broke trend line right here. So looking for a break underneath that 220. It's like right here. Let me make that white real quick and then drop it down. Yeah. So underneath that zone right there, be looking for a move down on IWM. 220 psych level looks like. How'd its weekly close? Weekly closed a doji candle as well. So something similar with SPY, where if this week it does pull back and we get a red candle, it comes all the way back down here between 215 214. At the end of the week, you're going to have a giant red candle here on the right side. You add those 3 candlesticks together there. At that high, you would have an evening star. Say 9 times out of 10, continuation downside, get a move back down to 210. So that is potential weekly setup here for a downside on IWM. Which, honestly, I mean, if it sets up that way, and I know, like, I'm just, everything so far that I'm talking about seems bearish, but that's just what I see on the chart as of right now. But it makes sense, because if you do get the pullback down here on the weekly, right, if the evening star plays out and does continue downside, if you look at the weekly right here, that giant green candle, okay, these two moving averages, that's the 9 and 21 EMA, right? Use it on 5-minute, freaking hourly, 4-hour, whatever, right? Just for helping with trend. So look, the last time they crossed was right here. And when they crossed back in February, look at the massive downside it had. And then all it did when it hit right here is it bounced back up, retested the EMAs, and it was another short to go lower, right? So now, I mean, if you think about it, if it does give the pullback on SPY, Qs, and IWM, it pulls back down here, it's just going to retest the weekly EMAs. And if those weekly EMAs hold, then work its way back up and then make a new high later on. So 222 now, evening star forms, plays out to the downside. Cool, play IWM down to 214 and then down to the 210 area, or the weekly moving averages down here. Exit short positions, potentially being runners, and then look to flip long if buyers step in, nice risk to reward down there, and then take it back up higher. So just inverting what happened over here, putting it over here, just bearish case and a short-term bearish for a potential, longer-term bullish trade setup. So can play the direction either way, but that's what I'm seeing there. So that's SPY, QQQ, and IWM. There's a lot of charts that I sent out in the premium Discord earlier. I put some on Twitter as well. I'm not going to go over all of them. I'm looking at SoundHound, Amazon, CRM, Carvana, Oxy, Oracle, Norwegian Cruise Line, Carnival Cruise Line, Snow, Grab, Affirm, and CrowdStrike. Those are all the charts that I'm watching this week. Am I going to sit here and cover every single one of those? Absolutely not. I'm just going to cover 3 of them. I've already sent all the other charts for those names in the premium Discord. So they've already got the charts for all of those from what I watch, and I'm just going to pick essentially the top 3 that I'm looking at. We'll do probably 4. So the only thing I'm watching on CRM is that these 3 candlesticks right here, this big red candle, the doji, and the big green candle, that's a morning star reversal, which is what you want to see at the bottom of a downtrend. Or this was at the bottom of a potential, a higher low situation. What happened was that morning star did not get a green candle afterwards. It actually got a red little, I guess, hanging man, you could say, here on the weekly. Underneath the moving averages, look, 921 crossover. We just talked about this on IWM, right? It's 921 crossover to the downside, retest EMAs, coming back down. It's still rejecting the EMAs here. Now it actually turned into an evening star, which is the bearish reversal. So you had a morning star bullish reversal that then turned into an evening star. So it could be a failed bullish move setting up into a now bearish move. I mean, there's almost nothing more bearish than that. It's just that failed bullish move and now setting up for the bearish move here. So it is in a weekly squeeze. It is currently moving to the upside, but it has not flipped. See, this is what you want to see. Look. Above. I'm going to teach you guys a little quick hack to trade in the stock market on any time frame. 921 EMA crossover right there, above the moving averages. TTM squeeze moving to the upside, goes from yellow, flips to light blue. Now we're bullish. Look at the MACD crossover, bullish. Look at the RSI, gets above 50 line right here and starts to move higher, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, squeeze fires, massive move to the upside, right? It's one of the best strategies that I've ever freaking came up with. So now we have another squeeze, but it's moving to the upside and has not flipped bullish. What I'm thinking, because if you look at the MACD tried to flip bullish. It was green there for freaking half a second. It was green right there for half a second. Now it's flipping back red. So what I think is that this was a failed bullish move. It was setting up to be a potential higher low bullish move and then reverse the trend and get back above the weekly EMAs and move higher. But it's actually not going to flip bullish on the histogram for the squeeze. I think it's probably going to stay relatively flat, and then it's actually going to start to move to the downside with the RSI and MACD that are going to be going red and curling down. When that happens, the squeeze will fire to the downside and get a move down here, back down to the 230 areas. Underneath 230 gets pretty ugly. I don't know if it can see underneath 230 and get the move down to, you know, the 200, 190 area. Would be absolutely insane. But right here, if it really started to go again down to 100, 190 potentially, but I think seeing the move down to 230 is possible here on CRM. So, and if you go to the monthly, all right, so monthly moving averages again, cross over to the downside, and then got to cross over to the upside. Now it's underneath the weekly moving averages. Look how close the 9 and 21 are right now. They are within about $6 of each other, or about $7, sorry, about $7 of each other. So 9's just above the 21, so they have not flipped bearish yet. So if it does get the move down the 230 area, right, can obviously bounce right here, retest those EMAs. If it rejects, by that time the 9 would be crossing underneath the 21 on the monthly, and then you would have that change in trend, and then when it breaks the 230, flushes down to this next big bottom zone, which would be around the 200 area. So bigger picture, a larger time frame setup here for potential downside on CRM. So Carvana has been on an absolute mission recently. I know it's crazy to think about, but it did not get the most bullish weekly candle close, so I'm actually looking for a potential short here on CVNA. You have this potential rising wedge with this shooting star on the weekly here at the top. You go to the daily rising wedge, it looks a little bit cleaner. So getting the move down here, breaking the trend line, the daily 21 EMA and 330, it can get pretty ugly for continuation downside. So losing the daily 9, just underneath 342. I would be targeting the daily 21, this trend line in around the 330 area on Carvana as a first target, and then if it breaks that and the rising wedge plays out for lower, and then you would get a corresponding red candle here on the weekly. You would combine those 3 candlesticks again. I've already done it on all the other names. If you get a red candle right here, what's it called? It would be an evening star candlestick setup at the top of an uptrend, which is my favorite bearish reversal, which means it would be followed by potential another red candle for further downside. So another potential larger time frame setup here for potential downside on CVNA. I don't want to sound like the big bad bear, but now go to Snowflake. There's your evening star. So like the other ones haven't got that big fat red candle on the right side just yet, Snowflake already got it. It's clean. It's at the top of an uptrend. It's near prior resistance area. Look, just zoom out, look. I mean, on the larger time frame too, if you go to the monthly, that would be a lower high as well. Didn't overtake that previous high, but that overall zone, I mean, it's rejecting, and then up in that zone right there on the weekly, that is that's an evening star reversal. So again, 9 times out of 10, I like to see continuation downside, another red candle. So would like to see a 205, 200, and then after that 195, 194 on Snowflake. So again, I don't want to seem like the big bad bear, but I'm just seeing a lot of setups for potential downside this week. So that's CRM, Carvana, and Snowflake. I think those are the potential best charts on the larger time frames for downside that I'm going to be watching this week and then potentially next week. There's other names again like Affirm, CCL, NCLH, SoundHound, Amazon, Upside on Oxy, and Upside on Grab. And I'll talk about Grab and then call it a night because it's already on here. So Grab, very cheap stock. It's right at $5, but you go to the weekly right here, you have this lower high trend line rejection, and then potential inverse head and shoulders setting up right here. So let me turn that off. Go to the daily, a little bit easier to see, and if it breaks above that lower high right there, you know, it kind of looks almost like another inverse head and shoulders within that inverse head and shoulders on the right shoulder. Look, there's your left, there's your head, pops back up, there's your right shoulder right there. It looks like a head and shoulders or inverse head and shoulders within another inverse head and shoulders. Double bullish. So see if we can break that above that trend line, get the ripper up to 550, and then potentially push back up to those highs up here, which is 5.72, and then above that probably just $6 cycle level. So what's up, Traders Bay? Liv, take notes on this hack. Liv knows. Whoopsies, wrong screen. Liv knows what the that strategy is. I think Liv's attended the last, I don't know, what, 20 mastermind classes where I teach and talk about that strategy, and where I started with that and developed it. So Liv knows. I'm looking at Norwegian Cruise Line already down 1.4%. Carnival not down. I see overnight Snowflake is underneath 210. That's good. I see SoundHound. So I'm already short SoundHound. By the way, I know I talked about SoundHound for downside, but I sent some flow from Bullflow, I believe, into my chart last week for a setup for downside on SoundHound. So I took $11 puts. They were green during the last session. Hit my first target zone downside. And it looks like SoundHound's down 1.3% after hours. And MicroStrategy is up 1.5%. Tesla's up 1.15%. So there's a lot of freaking names on watch this week. Again, there's like 10 or 12 different things that I'm watching. So I covered 7 of those here with you guys: SPY, QQIWM, Top Downside, CRM, Snowflake, and CVNA, and then potential upsides, looking at Oxy and Grab. So that's it. That's all I wanted to go over tonight. What are we at? We're right about to be right at the 30-minute mark, almost there. So I appreciate you guys on the live stream. There's 1.2k people in here right now. I appreciate the 1,200 people that are taking time out of their Sunday night to watch me chart and babble on about the stock market. So we crushed it last week. We're gonna crush it again this week. So tonight is the last night for the July code. So you can use the promo code July and get 40% off anything within my store as well. So you can come hang out in the premium Discord. You can also get a 7-day free trial whenever you sign up as well, and then use the code 40%. Then after the 7 days, when it goes through, it'll take that off. So if you want to come hang out in the premium Discord with myself and my team, we have a blast on live stream. We sit here, we talk, we hang out, talk about charts, and we bullshit and tell stupid jokes, and then we take trades on live and make money. We have fun in the premium Discord, especially when A-Rod's in the chat. A-Rod likes to do some crazy shit in the chat. And then I sing and serenade all the time on the live stream, and my Discord absolutely loves when I sing to them. I know it. So let me see. Nothing else in the Discord. Let me check the chat over here. Live muscle memory. I know that's right. He said thank you. You're welcome. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump off here. Hopefully those charts in the stream help for those names I'm gonna be watching for downside this week. So again, 1,200 people in here. Appreciate you guys. And if you're on the X live stream, please do like and repost the stream. Again, this is recorded. It will be saved to my YouTube channel as well, but also will be saved to my page on X. So the more people that like and repost it, easier for others to find it later if they cannot attend this session live. So, all right. Hope everyone has a great rest of their Sunday evening. Let's have a great week of trading. And then premium Discord team, I will see you guys here live right before market open on the live stream, ready to go ahead and trade. We're going to crush the small account this week. The $1,000 account that we doubled to $2,000 is now at $23.54, if I remember. I looking at it earlier. So that account is up nicely. Going to see if we can hit $3,000 on that account this week, and then the following week we will see if we can hit the $4,000 goal, doubling the $2,000 to $4,000. So, and then see if we can do it maybe one more time, do a triple double. We'll see. Go from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8. So we'll see how that goes. So, all right, everyone, have a great night, and I'll see the